Tropical disturbance 95S is active right now off the northeastern coast of Madagascar with maximum sustained winds right now of 35 miles per hour, gusts of 45 miles per hour, central pressure around 1004 millibars. The storm currently located, as I said, approximately 75 to 100 miles northeast of the northeast coast of Madagascar, is set to very, very soon to become the next tropical cyclone of the 2023-24 Southwest Indian Ocean cyclone season, and probably probably the last storm of the season, maybe, as the season ends in just a little bit over a month. If we do see any additional storms, I don't anticipate there to be many. April is usually a very quiet month for cyclones worldwide. With this system right now is expected to become a very likely to become a very, very major cyclone, possibly a Category 3 or 4, as it's expected to head south toward the Masserine Islands. So, to get a depiction of that here real quick, first we're going to move this to... We want an infrared scan on 95S as well. I don't know why this wasn't set up previously, but it's setting up now. As you can see right now with the storm, cloud top temperatures, there are several areas where the cloud top temperatures are reaching toward negative 80 or 85 degrees Celsius right now, the cloud top temperatures. Storm not completely or fully organized yet. That's why it's not a tropical cyclone yet. It's not completely well organized just yet, but it is very, very close. It's organizing rapidly. We've been tracking this storm for about 2 or 3 days for the potential for it to develop, and it looks like it's been following the trends that we thought it would. This storm right here is a very dangerous system. It has a very and appears to have a destructive future ahead of it. So, without further ado, let's start with our models. As you can quite clearly see, if I zoom into Southwest Indian here, the storm expected to develop probably within the next 12 to 18 hours. Will brush the northeastern, get a little bit closer, brushing the northeastern coast of Madagascar, possibly as a Category 2 or 3, perhaps, and the storm will begin to head straight for the Masserine Islands. Looks like a Category 3 passage there. Winds maybe 105 miles per hour with that storm going through, so definitely destructive winds. That's a bit of a lower trend, though, than what the GFS models were saying a couple of days ago about it, and earlier this morning and a couple of days ago, about it potentially being a Category 4. But it looks like right now they are forecasting a Category 3 storm, with winds maybe 100 to 105 miles per hour to pass, center to pass in between the Mauritius Islands, which would enable it to bring those maximum winds onshore. We expect that this system will afterwards race off quickly to the south and as it gets off the map, it will be sucked up by a very large extratropical low near the Southern Ocean. And then it's off. And then in the future, there doesn't appear to be any activity, just the usual thunderstorm activity in the tropics of the Indian Ocean. Moving on to our wind profile here. As you can quite clearly see, the low-pressure system develops winds very quickly. Rapid intensification ensues. Gusty winds may occur on the northeastern coastline of Madagascar, and then the storm will pass through. It looks like the eastern Masserine Island will likely receive the brunt of the winds. So they will likely receive the brunt of the major winds, the Category 3 winds. Reunion may see winds equivalent to maybe a Category 1 or a Category 2. It's possible, with higher gusts, of course. And the storm will rapidly race off to the south. It's going to be a very compact system. So the storm's influence will be very small. As you can, we're going to bring it up on here on infrared. As you can quite clearly see, the storm is likely to get its structure organize quite fast, coming perilously close to the northeastern coast of Madagascar, and then weakening slowly as it heads toward the Masserene Islands, but definitely making a potentially devastating mark on those islands. There it is, passing through right there. That's as far as it goes. It goes for 5. This model run goes for 5 days. Getting toward the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, they have the storm marked with a high chance of development right now. Invest 95S is what they're calling it. Here is the graphic, just showing that the storm has pretty much been stalling over the same spot. That's just what the big circle means. Here we're going to get a look at the storm, just how exactly things are shaping up for the system right now. We're going to animate it. Whoops! I didn't trigger satellite. Jeez. There we go. We're gonna animate it just so we can see the loop of the storm. You can quite clearly see that rotation is very, very obvious right now. So, the storm is rapidly organizing. It's I wouldn't be surprised if it's developed within the next 12, 18 hours or so. Definitely within 24, I'd say. Shear. Wind shear. Right now, with the storm center, the wind shear is, well, almost non-existent. 10, 15 knots right now. Very, very low wind shear. Of course, toward the south of the storm, there are higher amounts. The system may have to run into a little bit of that, and if this wind shear south here remains in place. As the storm heads south, it may limit the storm's rapid intensification. That might be why the models have trended a little bit lower in terms of intensity. There may be wind shear impacts, so if that happens, that will thankfully prevent the storm from becoming too powerful. But it will likely be a very, very intense storm. There's no discounting the possibility that this will be an intense tropical cyclone as it moves south towards sea surface temperatures. As you can quite clearly see right now, the storm underneath right now, sea surface temperatures 29 to 30 degrees Celsius are favorable, very favorable for the development of this storm. As you go farther south toward the Masserene Islands, sea surface temperatures being 27, 28, maybe pushing 29. So the sea surface temperatures being lower toward the Masserene Islands will also assist in the storm's loss of intensity before the storm reaches the Masserene Islands, thankfully. But the storm will still be very powerful as it impacts the area. We'll have multiple more updates coming through. They will be very close together. They will be here every day. That is my mission here for this storm, as it's expected to be extremely impactful and potentially severely dangerous. That's it for this. That's it for update 1. We will be back sometime in the afternoon hours tomorrow with another update.